spot you're standing in this afternoon to view the trials that were conducted in this historic courtroom. The courtroom of Independence Hall has some of the same accoutrements that you would find in a normal courtroom in our nation today, such as jury boxes. We still use jury boxes after 281 years of court. The furniture that's in this room wasn't original here, but old enough to grace Independence Hall. The benches and chairs positioned throughout this courtroom are approximately 260 years old. The circular table was used by lawyers. Both the prosecuting attorney and defense attorney all sat as an aggregate at the same table in those days, and on the stage you would have found the judges. And this device is a discontinued device in American courts. American courts used to utilize a device like this, but no longer. The prisoner's dock. This is where we derive that famous term, stand trial, because the subject who was accused of a crime had to literally stand in this device in the 18th as well as the early 19th century in American courts. There is only one original object among us that survived time. The original object in the room is the painting. That painting is original. It was painted in the year 1785, and it is the first seal of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The first state seal is before you this afternoon. And if you inspect this painting closely, you should find the words virtue, liberty, and independence. Virtue, liberty, and independence is the motto of the state of Pennsylvania today. The painting was made for that space in 1785. It's only taken off of this wall now when the room is cleaned or painted. But that painting wasn't always here at Independence Hall. And of course, this building is some 53 years older than that painting, so something else should have been in this square before the painting ever arrived there. And there was. What was there before the painting was another symbol that resembled this. What is this? Anyone?
King George.
Excellent, excellent. Are you a great friend today?
No.
You can admit it, we're friends now. Okay, this is absolutely correct. It is the royal seal of King George III. This was not a painting. This was described as being a 200-pound carved mahogany plaque embellished with other things that used to rest of the painting is today. But on July the 8th of 1776, it was ripped off of that wall by militiamen who heard the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence, a reading that occurred in the rear of this building by John Nixon on July 8th, 1776. And when John Nixon perhaps finished reading that declaration, those militiamen bolted in here, removed the king's coat of arms, drug it through the courtroom, drug it through the streets of Philadelphia, and promptly burned the plaque at sundown. Now, I don't know about you, but those actions tell me that Philadelphians have changed very little in over 200 years. Certainly, those colonists were upset with the king because they thought that he overtaxed them somehow. I'm not sure how they gauged that, but certainly the king perhaps escalated taxes to the point where the colonists were upset and fed up with these escalating of taxes. They used to have a slogan that's sometimes used by Americans today: no taxation without representation. Yes, they would let one delegate from the colonies into the British Parliament, but tax the residents who were living on the North American continent as though they were living in the center of London. Colonists had to make a huge decision inside of this building we call Independence Hall. They called the Pennsylvania State House. They had to decide between staying with their original government or to become an independent nation and go into the future without knowing what was going to transpire. And the colonists made their huge decision in the room across the hall, a place we plan to visit next. But before we travel there, is there anyone on this 115 tour who has encountered any questions about the courtroom of Independence Hall?